First, we had the Graham Linehan. Am I saying
Graham Linehan?
Linehan. Jesus, I was way off.
Yeah.
I'm saying his name right. So he was arrested, as you know, getting off an airplane because he had sent some mean tweets. One of them was saying that if you're a woman and you're in a female-only space and a biological male is in there, you should make a scene. It's illegal, and if all else fails, his final line was, punch them in the nuts.
Mm-hmm. Balls, I think.
Punch them in the balls?
Yeah. Just for accuracy's sake.
Yeah. No, that's me going back to my old slang. It was... that would be unquestionably protected in the United States. It's, for one thing, obviously a joke, but it's also entirely conditional that if someone's doing something highly illegal, you can defend yourself. There is no world in which that should at least count as incitement. But they were, when I bring this up, in Britain, the level of cope that people have, the amount of like, well, that was hateful, or that was, that should be banned. It just kind of blows me away. And I should point out, my mother's British. I spent a lot of time over there as a kid, and they used to laugh at us for our political correctness over there. And now they have outdone us by a country mile. So yesterday I did the BBC News about this because they were really concerned about these hearings about how speech restrictions in Britain and in the EU could be limiting free speech in the United States. And all of the questions I got from the BBC in advance was basically like, well, this is total hypocrisy. The Trump administration is doing this and that. And you can't impeach me with that, because it's like, yeah, we take on everybody.
Total bait and switch. So instead of actually talking about the issue, they want to talk about Trump. Yeah.
Well, and so I wasn't really having it. I just talked about there being a free speech crisis there, and they said, well, people disagree with there being a free speech crisis, and I was like, no, there's a free speech crisis, and I pointed to some data that indicates that about 10,000 people are arrested every year for offensive speech on the internet, and this is a data from the Times.
In the UK?
In the UK, yeah,
10,000.
Yeah,
I heard it was 30 a day.
Yeah,
does that come out to 10,000?
That works out to be about 12,000. Because, and I'm just saying that it's been over 10,000 since 2021, and which, just to give you a sense of that. The first Red Scare in the United States was 2 years, and it was about 4,000 people arrested. So the idea that, and it's funny, like I've been watching the freak out, in response to my appearance on the internet when I make these accusations. First, I get the, Americans who are like, yeah, no, it sounds crazy. Then I get the Brits who realize there's a very serious problem. They've seen the videos as well of people being, old pensioners being arrested, because they put a sign up or said something on Facebook, oftentimes, accurate even. And then the people, really reacting to, there's nothing, this is all fine. And my favorite one was someone who came back and said, well, only about 1,000 of them were convicted each year. And I'm like,
yeah,
what you're saying is that more than 12,000 people being arrested for speech is no big deal because not that many of them are actually convicted. It's like, if you want to...
Sorry, but 1,000 is a lot of convictions.
It's a lot of, yeah, it's a lot of convictions. Then, and so that's but obviously you're going to chill speech if there's even
quite
any chance at all. If you convicted one person, people would chill their speech. Just if it happened even once. And this is something that we point to as a chilling effect in the United States all the time. It didn't take a whole lot of Socrateses for people to get the message, or Galileo for that matter. You just need to do it once. So doing it thousands of times is insane. And I made the point that that's the equivalent of arresting about 50,000 people per year in the United States, or 60,000 if you take the 12,000. Yes. And then when people are like, well, some of those might have been things involving like domestic violence or something like that, I also made the point that essentially there are other things that you would charge them with if it was that. But there's also this massive category of non-crime hate incidents.
Correct, yes.
Which is, I think the number's like in millions. Like
a quarter of a million since 2014.
A quarter of a million? Okay. And some of those might be things that would even be unprotected in the United States, but surely not all of them.
I mean, they're ludicrous. I mean, they include a young girl, a schoolgirl, getting one because she called another classmate that she said she smelled like fish.
Uh-huh.
Someone else got one for hanging soiled jeans on a clothesline in the garden. Someone got one for whistling the Bob the Builder theme tune at someone walking down the street. I mean, they're utterly ludicrous. Anyone can get one. There's any perceived offence anywhere along the line, but it doesn't even have to include the person being quote unquote offended.
Yeah.
If anyone perceives anything to be offensive, you can report it to the police.
And if that happened again, once, I would say that you're in a crisis. If this is happening routinely, you are in a crisis, and they're in utter denial about it. And even when I went over to do and I saw you there at the Battle of Ideas last year, when I went over, I was amazed at how much Britons would defend what was going on, even ones who were critical of it, or say it's really not that big of a deal. And I did Andrew Doyle's show, and I was like, you guys have lost your minds and sense of perspective. You know, people have the right to talk about serious matters. And then people would bring up, some people are saying things that are offensive about immigration. I'm like, in a lot of cases, they're talking about sexual assaults. It's like, can you imagine a more serious topic? And to be frank, that's an empirical question.
Yes,
like you need to have a cool head and say, like, is this actually a problem? Look at it empirically and be able to adjust for that. But the idea that you're trying to actually, that Britain has started this process of trying to deal with serious social issues by just getting people to shut up.
Yes.
That's a downward spiral.
Yes, quite. Thanks for watching this clip from The Winston Marshall Show. You can click here to watch the full episode, and for more clips like this one, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, be well.